Welcome to Release to Results. This is our A Course in Miracles series where we're going through the lessons one at a time to have an experience of what the Course tells us about that we are indeed one with our Creator. You have such incredible power that has been given to you as you were created by love, and love can hold no grievances. So today's lesson is going through we're going to be going through all of these grievances that we've been imagining, we've been holding, and allowing. Uh, could you just be okay with that? So many of us in our spiritual practices, we've been told like resentments are wrong, uh, that I shouldn't have any bad feelings or any bad thoughts about anyone. And what happens in that is we suppress and repress a tremendous amount of negative energy, and it kind of gets stuck in the body, and it actually blocks the positivity that we really are from flowing and being available for our service, for our presence, for the salvation of the world. So why letting go goes so well with the Course in Miracles is we know what to do with this negative energy, these grievances, these resentments, these attacks, these defenses, rather than attacking and defending and holding resentments. We can simply acknowledge what we're doing. So the beginning of this practice, Love Holds No Grievances, lesson 68, is searching our mind for those against whom we hold what we regard as major grievances, then going over and looking at minor grievances and discovering how quickly we can acknowledge that, oh my gosh, even with people whom I love very much, I'm carrying grievances. And this is not about, oh no, I'm carrying grievances. This is just matter of fact. Oh, I've got grievances with so many people. Could I begin to let that go? Could I start to let go of those grievances and find peace with everyone and everything? As I shine my light in the world, it will be brighter and brighter as I let go of these grievances which I have been carrying. So, without making right or wrong of whatever is coming up, could you simply acknowledge and allow what's coming up for you? It's okay. It's okay. How do we deal with these grievances? We let them go. So that might mean feeling something, letting it move rather than stuffing it down or trying to push it away. Could you just allow up some of this energy that's there even with the people you love most? I have a partner, and I I consist as I go through the Course in Miracles, I'm saying, "Wow, look at how much I'm using my partner as someone to attack or make wrong of, to have resentments with this person whom I love very much." And the Course allows me and will allow you to do the same, to bring up these things that are other than love, not to guilt yourself or condemn yourself, but to free yourself from some of these illusions. So, as best you can, could you simply acknowledge and allow up some of these things so you can release them, so you can let them go and come to peace? So, let us begin lesson 68. Love holds no grievances. You who were created like by love, like itself, can hold no grievances and know yourself. So that doesn't mean that there aren't grievances. It's just an opportunity for you to come to release these grievances and to remember who you are, to be that. So, could you begin this period just by allowing any grievances major to come to mind? Is there anyone you have a major grievance with. Another word for that, a resentment with, something you're attacking someone with. And could you simply, without making right or wrong of it, start to allow some grievances, some resentments that you've been carrying to come to mind? Oh, yes, there could be quite a few. The Course says right here in the lesson that there are many, we will discover many, many grievances, even with those we claim to love or that we do love, though there's some mixed energy. And could you simply welcome anything that's coming to mind? Major grievances, resentments, attacks on people. And just notice when you open up and allow up what's been stored in the subconscious, the unconscious, or even things you're conscious of, how much grievances have been held. And then maybe some light grievances. Could you open up and allow for just a viewing of some minor resentments, minor attacks, minor grievances, which have been held or carried consciously or unconsciously? Could you open up and just welcome whatever's coming through your awareness without judging or moralizing about it, just noticing? And could you simply be okay with yourself and acknowledging that, oh, yeah, there's some grievances, or perhaps a great many? So, lesson 68, love holds no grievances. That doesn't mean some haven't been held. Could you take one of these minor grievances or major grievances and just allow it to come to mind? And could you go behind such a grievance, such a resentment, and notice how that feels, beholding that? Could you allow the energy, the feeling behind that resentment or grievance and let it move? Let it unstick just by noticing it, feeling it. Nothing to do or change about it. Just letting that energy, that feeling unwind, being present. And could you let that energy, that feeling go? Could you let go of that resentment, that grievance? You never have to. And would you let go of that feeling? When could you let go? Love holds no grievances, and there's no rush. Could you just allow what's happening for you? And just taking one of these grievances or resentments that's been held, if you can think of it, it's there, and that's okay. Those of us who are here to save the world to light the world, need not be afraid of any darkness. It's okay to look, to notice, and acknowledge what we've been carrying that's getting in the way of our true function, our true self, our awareness of that. Could you simply let some resentment, some grievance come to mind? And could you go behind the appearance and the mental and notice the emotional storage, the feeling? Could you open up and allow up that energy, that emotion? Could you let it move, simply feeling it? And could you let it release a little bit of that energy, that emotion? Could you let it release a lot of it? Could you let it release? Would you release all of this resentment if you could? You never have to. Love holds no grievances. To hold a grievance is to let the ego rule your mind. And perhaps you do not fully realize what holding grievances does to your mind. It seems to split you off from your source and make you unlike him, this love which holds no grievances. Could you just notice what it feels like to be cutting yourself off from what you are and holding a grievance? And it's okay. You just notice some resentment, some grievance you've been holding, small or large. It matters not. Having the courage and the light to look in the darkness, which cannot overtake you. If you shine upon it, look upon it, could you allow some resentment or grievance to come to mind? And could you notice the feeling behind carrying such a grievance or resentment? Just allowing yourself to feel whatever you feel. And that's okay. Could it be okay to feel this? To let that energy start to dissipate and diffuse simply by noticing it, feeling it, shining your light upon it? And could you surrender this resentment, this grievance, this energy, just turning it over? Would you surrender this grievance, this feeling? Just would you? Yes or no is fine. It's your choice. When could you surrender this resentment and surrender? Maybe it stays, maybe it goes, just surrendering it, giving it up. Coming to be united with your source, which holds no grievances. One surrender at a time. You never know when one surrender could leave you fully aware of what you really are. Takes what it takes. For love, which created you like itself, holds no grievances, no resentment, no attacks. Love holds no grievances. Though it's very clear if we allow, even for a moment, just to have the courage to be honest, that maybe there's a great deal of resentments, of grievances which we've been carrying. And that's okay. Your light is not overtaken by any darkness that's been carried. Could you simply allow to mind anything small or large which you've resented, maybe even in someone you love very much? Just acknowledging some resentment, some grievance, which you've held. And could you open up and simply be okay with whatever you find? Could you go behind any thought that came to mind of a resentment or a grievance and notice the feeling that's been held, stuck, or carried in your field? And could you allow yourself to feel that just for now? Could you sit with this energy, just some energy, just something that's been hanging out or stuck? And could you begin to unstick it by feeling it? And could you release this resentment, this grievance? Yes, no, either way is fine. Would you release this energy, this feeling, if you could? Freeing yourself of resentment and returning to love. When could you release what isn't even you? This resentment, this feeling. Perhaps now, perhaps later. Just when could you release? Love holds no grievances. And yet, perhaps, even with someone you love very much, there's some kind of resentment or attack that's been carried. It's been held on to as if it's important. And it's okay. Could you just allow any resentment, grievance, attack that you've been holding on to or carrying to come to mind. And perhaps you've been cherishing this grievance in some way, making it important or valuable. That's okay. Could you just notice how it feels to be cherishing or holding, clinging on to some resentment, some grievance? And could you acknowledge and allow this energy, this feeling behind any thoughts, letting the thoughts drift by? Could you simply feel what it feels like to be holding, cherishing, continuing to resent, to grieve, to attack? That energy, could you let it run out by letting it be felt? And could you let go? Just could you let go of this resentment, this attack, or this grievance? Just could you let go of this feeling? Would you let go? When could you let go of holding a grievance, a resentment, an attack, and be what you are, which holds no grievances? And now, just taking one of these people, one of these things you've held a grievance or a resentment with. Love holds no grievances. Could you take this person, bring them before you, and say to yourself, I would see you as my friend, that I may remember you are a part of me, and come to know myself. And just allowing whatever comes up for you, taking another person you've had a resentment with or a grievance with that you held before, could you say to them, I would see you as my friend, that I may remember you are a part of me, and come to know myself. How does that feel? And taking someone else, putting them before you in mind, who you've resented before or held a grievance with. Could you say to them now, I would see you as my friend, that may remember you are a part of me, and come to know myself. Hmm. And it's okay if you're not all the way there yet, making friends of all these former enemies that you held resentments with, grievances with. It's okay to allow up any further darkness into your light, just to acknowledge it, allow it, and let it pass. Let it release. And could you just notice any resistance or refusal to be at peace or at love and acceptance of someone who is a part of you? Is there any resistance, refusal, or denial of love, of peace with someone, some part of you? And could you just notice that? No judgment, no moralization, no right or wronging on yourself, just noticing any energy that's refusing peace, love, and acceptance of some part of you. And could you let it go? Would you let go of refusing peace and love and acceptance to some part of you? When could you release the resistance and be what you are? Could you allow yourself to be at peace with everyone and everything, safe in a world that protects you and loves you, and that you love in return? This is what's available for you when you let all your grievances, your resentments, your attacks go. Love holds no grievances. When I let all my grievances go, I will know I am perfectly safe. Could you allow yourself to be at peace with everyone and everything in a world that protects you and loves you and that you love in return? Just could you allow that? And if any resistance comes up, that's okay. Could you allow that? Could you welcome whatever seems to be happening for you, letting go, surrendering, and coming to peace with everyone and everything around you in a world that protects you and loves you and that you love in return? Could you try to allow, or could you allow yourself to feel safety surrounding you, hovering over you, holding you up? Could you allow, however briefly, that nothing can harm you in any way? And could you tell yourself, love holds no grievances. When I let all my grievances go, I will know I am perfectly safe. Love holds no grievances. Could you just allow this, however briefly, that when you let all your grievances go, you will know you're perfectly safe? Could you be, however briefly, surrounded by safety in a world that loves you and protects you, safe, at peace with everyone and everything? You who are on this journey of surrender, walking the path of A Course in Miracles, of surrendering, it's okay to be where you are. There may be many more grievances or resentments which you discover as you go through your day. And could you just bring them to the love that you are, allowing up whatever seems to be coming up, to let it go and come to have an experience of safety, perfect safety in love. The power of this frequency of love is far more protective than any of these ego illusions which you've been using to protect yourself. There is nothing lost when you let go of these ego survival mechanisms to come to surviving truly in the love that you are, the holiness you are, the light that you are. Could you allow yourself to shine today, forgiving yourself, forgiving others, forgiving the world, seeing friends everywhere and no longer able to discover enemies? It may seem like a big ask, though one release at a time, one surrender at a time, you will surely come to know the love that you are, the love that holds no grievances, and fulfill your function, salvation of the world. I love that I get to journey with you in this. Let's walk together. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for releasing, and well done.